Tecno and Samsung in the same conversation a few years ago was always going to be a one-way answer. Samsung made the better phone. But in an ever-evolving, ever-competitive smartphone industry, Tecno is coming hard nowadays. The Samsung Galaxy A16 and Tecno Spark 30 Pro have a lot in common, and just little margins separate these phones. Let's find those margins together in this video. If you buy the Galaxy A16, you're getting just a USB-C cable in the box, and for the Tecno Spark 30 Pro, you'll get all the necessary things you need to get up and running, which includes a silicon TPU case, a 32-watt charging adapter, and a USB-C cable. I have the base model of both phones with me here, and we have 4 gigs RAM and 128 gig storage space on the Samsung, and 8 gigs RAM and 128 gig storage space on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. Of course, for the Samsung, there is a model with 8 gigs RAM, but it is much more expensive. I'm also planning on putting out a long-term review of the Galaxy A16. I've been using it for over a month now, and if you're interested in that video, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on that video. We have UFS 2.2 storage on both phones, and the RAM type is LPDDR4X. The Galaxy A16 costs around 240,000 naira and above, depending on where you buy, and you should spend around 250,000 naira for the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. For design, we have Samsung's trademark finish on the Galaxy A16, while the Tecno Spark 30 Pro has a noticeable camera ring at the back. We have 3 cameras at the back of the Samsung and just 2 cameras at the back of the Tecno. More about the camera before the end of this video. Both phones have plastic at the back, but we have a matte finish at the back of the Tecno, while the Samsung has a bit of a glossy finish, making it prone to stains and scratches. We have a hybrid SIM card slot on the Galaxy A16, while the Tecno Spark 30 Pro supports 2 SIM cards, and there is a dedicated slot for memory expansion. On the Samsung, you have to choose either to use 2 SIM cards or a memory card and a SIM card at the same time. We have dual speakers on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro, while the Samsung Galaxy A16 has a single down-firing speaker, and here is how they both sound. Stop. Let me know what you think about the sound quality in the comment section. Which one sounds better? Now, both phones have rounded edges, but I find the Samsung Galaxy A16 to be a bit more comfortable to hold in the hand than the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. For design, they look completely different, and I prefer the Galaxy A16 over the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. The Samsung Galaxy A16 actually feels a bit more mature. Some people might confuse it for even more expensive Samsung phones with just a glance. For unlocking the phone, the Samsung has a side-mounted fingerprint scanner, while we have an under-display fingerprint scanner on the Spark 30 Pro. I prefer the method on the Tecno because I feel it's much more convenient. Both of them are equally fast, and there is also face unlock for both phones. I just feel the under-display fingerprint scanner makes the phone a bit more mature, and Tecno is definitely taking the lead here. The display size on both phones is almost the same. We have 6.7 inch on the Galaxy A16 and 6.78 inch on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. They both have a 1080p resolution with 90 Hz on the Samsung and 120 Hz refresh rate on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. The bezels are more noticeable on the Samsung, and it is also a U-shaped notch that is outdated. We have been clamoring for a long time now to Samsung to kind of ditch this method on their displays, but I don't think it's happening anytime soon. The Tecno, on the other hand, has a dot-in display, and it looks more pleasing and just overall more beautiful. We have a Super AMOLED display on the Samsung, and we have just AMOLED on the Tecno. They are both really bright and contrasty, but they process colors a bit differently. In terms of haptics while typing, I'm not a fan of the Tecno phone. I prefer the sound I get while typing on the Samsung, even though you don't get that vibration. Their sizes make consuming content or playing games immersive, and in terms of display, the Tecno gives you a 120 Hz refresh rate and a better looking display overall. Both of them are flat and responsive to touch, but the Tecno is just better. Now, let's talk about performance. We have the MediaTek Helio G99 on the Galaxy A16 and the MediaTek Helio G100 on the Spark 30 Pro. Both phones perform seamlessly for the price, but the Helio G100 is slightly better than the Helio G99. Any game that would run on the Spark 30 Pro will also run effectively on the Samsung Galaxy A16. They also have the same GPU, which further tells you that performance is close. What affected the performance during my testing is the fact that I have 4 GB RAM on the Samsung and 8 GB RAM on the Tecno, which means app retention in the background wasn't an issue on the Tecno, but on the Samsung, there was occasional reloading here and there. Optimization on both phones seems to be balanced, and I was impressed with what I was getting on the Galaxy A16 because optimization overall wasn't this good on the Galaxy A16 5G that I reviewed earlier. In terms of performance, the Tecno is slightly better. It has the more better chipsets. Let's just put it that way. Both phones are running on Android 14, and we have One UI on the Galaxy A16 and HiOS 14 on the Spark 30 Pro. Samsung has the upper hand in terms of software because the software looks a lot cleaner. Even though when I bought this phone and I finished the initial setup, they prompted me to install some apps, which I don't understand. You can clearly see that the animations are also much more pleasing in the eye on the Galaxy A16. The Samsung will also receive 6 years of software support, which is unheard of in this price category. The Spark 30 Pro has some good features that are exclusive, like the new dynamic port that lets you navigate music and other things. We also have an AI eraser on the Tecno Spark 30 Pro. You can use that to remove objects from images. And we also have an AI wallpaper generator in the settings that is just fun to use. There's also an AI text summarizer that you can use to quickly summarize web pages. It can be really helpful when you want to just quickly have an idea of what is on a website. There aren't any AI features on the Galaxy A16, even though Samsung has some of the best AI features on smartphones right now. Now, in terms of software updates, I don't think there will be any update on the Spark 30 Pro, and we are getting 6 years of software updates on the Samsung, which is kind of too good to be true. Maybe future updates on the Samsung might bring AI features, but for now, we are not sure. In terms of software, I think Samsung is clearly ahead. Now, on the camera side, we have a 108 megapixel primary camera on the Tecno and a 50 megapixel primary lens on the Galaxy A16. The images appear brighter on the Tecno phone. The colors also pop a bit more on the Spark 30 Pro. Now, when it comes to how these phones process images, the Tecno tends to be better. For example, this picture here, the real color is shown on the Spark 30 Pro. You can also see how good the Tecno is with this close-up shot. See how it focuses on the subject and blurs out the background. It was difficult to focus with the main camera of the Samsung for this particular picture. Now, for this picture that you are seeing, you can see how the Tecno blew out the background. You can't see beyond the door, but look at how Samsung kept the colors and made it overall warm, and you can even see what is outside the door. Now, for me, Tecno is better overall, but at the same time, you can also depend on the Samsung for quality pictures. For selfie, we have 30 megapixel on both phones, and the images still appear better on the Spark 30 Pro. It just handles post-processing a bit more better. For video, you can shoot 2K at 30 FPS with the Spark 30 Pro, while the Samsung maxes out at 1080p 30 frames per second. The chipset on the Samsung can actually shoot up to 2K, but I don't know why Samsung didn't give us that option. Here is how they both look. Let me know what you think about the overall quality of the pictures and videos in the comment section. Now, for battery, we have 5000 mAh on both phones, and the Tecno supports 32-watt charging speed, while the Samsung caps at 25 watts. You also need to buy a charging brick that supports power delivery to get that 25 watts. Surprisingly, it takes almost the same time to charge the phones from 0 to 100, and the overall battery life is close. You can't separate both phones. This aspect can easily be a tie, but I feel the slightly faster charging speed on the Tecno gives it an edge. You can get up to 7 hours of screen on time on both phones, but of course, it depends on your usage pattern. There are some of you out there that are just extreme users. They can play games for hours, and I can't compare my usage to their own. Rounding up, both phones shine in different ways. The Galaxy A16 has a better software and a better design, better handling, better feel in the hand, but performance, camera, and display belongs to the Spark 30 Pro. What else would you like to know about these phones? Feel free to ask any questions in the comment section. I will be there answering all your questions, and I'll be happy to see you in my next video.